Franchi is here from Fairfax County, Virginia, one of my all-time favorite places in my neighborhood. Hello, Jackie. Welcome back to Travel Show Live. It is our pleasure, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And you know, we actually, for those that are watching online, we just watched our latest video that we shot down there, and it's our second video that we shot down there. And you know what, Jackie? I thought I was going to be bored, since we were kind of, you know...
Well, that's nice.
No, I don't... Jackie and I are friends. We can talk like that. It's okay. I was a little nervous because I thought, well, you know, maybe... I've seen everything down there. Sure enough, I hadn't.
No,
you know, that's what I love about this place because, Jackie, would you consider it a place that people get surprised by when they come to visit?
Absolutely. I think some people don't necessarily have a good sense of what Northern Virginia has to offer.
Yeah.
And one of the things we do on our website is to really serve up all of the many activities, not only throughout Northern Virginia, but also, of course, in the capital city, so that people can get a good sense of the huge amount of activities that are available to them.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I do think that this is one of those destinations. You're from there, Steve, so you know what I'm talking about. When you start to do your homework prior to your arrival, or when you start to plan, you start going, oh, I didn't know that was there. Oh, wait, oh, I love that. Oh, you know what I mean? It's not a one-trick pony. It's not, you know, you've been there, done that, you saw it, and then you come home and like.
It's always changing.
It really is, and that's what I like about it. So explain geographically a little bit, so for people who don't know exactly where it is, Fairfax County lies in Northern Virginia.
Well, we're located right in the very heart of Northern Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C.
Yep.
About 15 minutes from, we'll put you into the Washington capital city, and about 15 minutes the other way will put you into the heart of Northern Virginia's wine country. So we're sort of right in the middle of Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, Old Town Alexandria, and of course all of the activities right here in Fairfax County.
Yeah, see, now this is, and I would highly recommend, especially if you're going to do a Washington, D.C. trip, if you're thinking, oh, we've never done a D.C. trip, see what you could do.
Got to make time for Fairfax.
You do. You know, I mean, you could stay in Fairfax County and then just go into Washington for day trips. You do a day, then come back to the hotel. You don't have to stay in Washington,
Save some money.
DC.
It's beautiful. It's peaceful, and there's excitement. There's all the shopping you could possibly want, every category.
You know, I love the fact that there is enough to do to keep you busy for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, even a week. I would have no problem filling up the schedule. Let's talk first Mount Vernon, of course. That's one of my favorite places. Jackie, when people come to Mount Vernon for the first time, what do they always say to you? What are one of the things you hear over and over again after they come and visit?
Well, one of the first things I hear is just how stunningly beautiful it is. Until you stand on the backside of Mount Vernon and look over the Potomac, you really haven't seen all of Northern Virginia and the Washington area. Another thing that people say to me recently, they think they have this sense of Mount Vernon that they had maybe when they came to the area on a school trip, when, you know, years and years ago. Mount Vernon, just a couple of years back here, added a very extensive underground education center and museum. And they did that so that they wouldn't compromise the historic vistas of the grounds, but this addition to the Mount Vernon experience is really something else. And Eric, I know you've personally experienced it.
Yeah, I loved it, and I'm so glad you mentioned the fact that they designed it in a way that wouldn't screw up the overall experience above ground. They
George
built
Washington
this all.
Would be proud.
Yeah, he would be. He really would be. And when you go down there, it's state of the art. They've got, you know, the galleries down there, the interactive galleries, and the artistry that went into the exhibits really is spectacular. I really loved it.
Well, it is. Thank you for saying that. The thing I love about it is that regardless of what your travel party looks like, you know, and what age levels and who's coming, everybody is going to totally love going to Mount Vernon. Everything's very interactive. It's meant to be touched. If you have children in the party, and oftentimes you go into a museum of that nature and they're not allowed to engage in some of the activities, this is the total opposite. The 25 interactive theaters and galleries are entertaining and but also educational, so that it gives parents an option to keep the kids entertained and have fun, but still really enjoy the experience themselves.
Yeah, I really.
Never going to get bored with that.
You're not.
No.
And the grist mill, which is down the street, we don't have time to even talk about that because we got to move on. But you got to go to the grist mill as well.
Did you bring any grist back with you?
No, I did not. They stopped me at security. I don't know why. I didn't know that was one of the things you can't bring, but it's fine. Now, also the Udvar Hazy Center, the Smithsonian.
Yes.
That is also another one of those places that people think that all the Smithsonians are inside Washington, D.C. You actually have to go out by Dulles Airport to the Udvar Hazy Center. Explain that for just a little bit, if you would, Jackie.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the fact that the Smithsonian museums are not all in one place. In fact, sometimes and I've lived here for quite a number of years in this area, but there are some folks who talk about the Smithsonian Museum as if there were one, and of course there are many, many of them.
Right.
The most recent, well, actually it's not the most recent any longer, but the National Air and Space Museum, Udvar Hazy Center, is located right here in Fairfax County. One of the things we say, again, and the experiences we offer on our website is called From the 18th Century to Outer Space, because you can go from George Washington's historic home all the way to outer space at the Hazy Center. The Hazy Center is a visually stunning museum, and unlike most museums, in that it's not segmented. You walk in and you are in an airplane hangar, and you get to see these just beautiful display of aircraft and spacecraft hanging throughout the museum. It's the only place in the country that you can see the Space Shuttle Enterprise.
Yep.
And the great thing is, as we just saw on the segment there from our video, is that again it's very interactive. You can be a fighter pilot with the flight simulators. You can actually roll the plane. You can go straight from there to the IMAX theater and watch Fighter Pilot the movie, and again hands-on kiosks. So that you can really engage in the museum activities and not have it just be a stop and stare type of experience.
I love that. Jackie, will you come back on the program and talk about all the other things?
I hope so.
You have to come back.
I would love to.
I love shooting down there. I can't wait to come down again. We didn't even talk about the shopping with Tyson's Corner and with Tyson's Square. And we got so much to cover. People need to go online. What's the website they can go on and watch the video?
Our website is fxva.com, FX for Fairfax and VA for Virginia, and we hope you come back again soon also.
I love it. We definitely will. Thank you, Jackie, very much.
My pleasure.